Michelle, couldn't be more excited, because our guests today were the very first participants in this year's New Year New Guest series. But, now we have them back. I mean, they're pretty much just becoming kind of show regulars, right?
Yeah, like family.
Like family. Exactly. These fun people, they recently returned from a visit to Southern California, and particularly, of course, the happiest place on earth. And anytime any of our friends go to Disneyland, well, we need to talk to them about it because, I think we're desperate to get there because it's our old stomping grounds. We love that place so much. So we want to hear everybody's take on it, right?
Right. Yeah. Living vicariously through others is always, the next best thing.
Yes. That's the best thing we can do right now.
Right.
So let's not hesitate any longer. Let's welcome back on board Troy, Mimi from the Disney Assembled podcast. Guys, welcome back to the Hyperion Adventures podcast.
Thank you.
We're so excited to be back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thanks for having us.
Oh, we couldn't be more thrilled, especially to be able to talk about this subject, which is so near and dear to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great time, and we're happy to share whatever vicarious living pieces of information you need to get through the rest of your break from Disneyland. Right. So yeah.
Yes.
A few more months still, but yes.
So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about this trip, the planning, and how it kind of came about. How did you decide, hey, you know what? This is a good time to get to Disneyland.
Yeah, it kind of just came naturally out of something that my mom and I do every year. We decided that we were going to road trip west and end up in California. That was because I've never been to LA and I've always wanted to go to LA. And so my mom was like, okay, we'll go to LA. And then I was like, well, if we're in LA, why don't we do Anaheim? We can do Disneyland for like a day, 2 days, just the two of us, cheap, easy, casual situation. And then that was brought up. And then my brother was like, well, if you're going to do that, then I want to go. And then my dad was like, well, if he's going to go, then I have to go. And it basically it started with a 2-day casual Airbnb Disneyland vacation or Disneyland stop on a road trip. And it turned into a 4-day family vacation at the Disneyland Resort at the Grand Californian. And they flew in and then they flew back out. And then my mom and I drove home because it was still just a part of our bigger vacation. But that's kind of where that came about. And we were super excited once it solidified and learning all the things about Disneyland that we knew nothing about. So
yeah, the planning snowballed from, like Mimi said, it was, I wasn't going to go at all. And brother was going to, my son, your brother, we were going to put him on a plane. He was going to fly by himself. But then my schedule freed up a little bit. And so what Mimi said is true. What was originally like a 2-day blip on a 10-day road trip turned into a 4-day, all four of us being there and having a vacation. And it ballooned from what Mimi said from, a good neighbor hotel or Airbnb to, club level room at Grand Californian for 4 days, which was really a shock. And out of it, here's a secret, Mrs. Disney Assembled probably will never hear this episode. She doesn't listen to podcasts. When she starts planning and she starts feeling the excitement, we don't have to tell her anything.
Oh, she gets
she upsells really herself. Yeah. Then she's like, well, if we're going to go for 4 days, I don't want to have to eat breakfast. So we should do a club room again so we can get the amenities. And so we were pricing Disneyland and Grand Floridian and Pixar. And we're like, well, Disneyland Resorts club room is under construction. So it wasn't really, they're building a new one. Right. And so they didn't have like a real area set up. And I was like, well, and Pixar's got the elevator, and I don't know if we're going to be waiting for an elevator. And so we ended up.
It was a lot of like Reddit reading, right. Like a lot of Reddit.
And the more she read, the more she sold herself on something else.
But the one that really sold us, the piece of information that really, really sold us in the Grand Californian over the Disneyland Hotel wasn't exactly the construction. Like I think it was part of that, but it was really the convenience of literally being able to like walk into the park is that's what really got us, because my brother does go back and take breaks, and that's part of why we like the Poly so much, because he can get on the monorail, get on the boat, and if he has to, he'll get on a bus, but we're like, you know, whatever. And that convenience is something that we definitely prioritize when we are planning vacation. So it originally did start at the Disneyland hotel. Like that was the vision. We wanted to stay there, the classic one. Awesome. But then the more we thought about like walking from the Disneyland hotel to California Adventure, that was just like less enticing, I guess. Like we are aware that it's not that long of a walk. Like we can all acknowledge that. But if there was an option to be closer for what really wasn't all that much of a price jump, we were like, okay, why not?
So that's where we ended up. And yeah, I mean, so that was where we were for 4 days.
Nice.
I like that thinking. I like that move up from, we'll just stay at a good neighborhood hotel. You know what? Why not? Not just stay at the Grand Californian. We're going to go full fledged here and do the club level. I love it. I love it. I love that thinking, especially when you're doing a vacation to a place that you haven't been to in a while. Now you've been to Disneyland before, but it's been a while, right? How long has it been since the last time you guys visited Disneyland?
Yeah, we went one other time in 2017, and it wasn't, so I would say this, that was not a planned family trip like this was. So that was, we went to go visit friends in San Diego, and while we were there, they were pass holders. We just went, stayed at a Holiday Inn and did a couple of days, but our trip wasn't for Disneyland. So we didn't plan it. It wasn't our agenda. It wasn't our itinerary. You know, our friend who we went to visit, really, they took us and they showed us around. And so and Mimi and her brother, but Mimi and her brother were much younger. It was 7 years ago. And so 8 years ago. So they don't remember much of that trip. So even though this wasn't our first time at Disneyland, it was probably our first family, like our memories, our planned trip, our visit.
Well, it was us doing Disneyland the way that we do Disney and not the way someone else does Disney, which isn't to say that the other way was bad. It's just we do it a certain way, which is, you know, different than how someone else might do it. And I definitely didn't remember much, if anything, about Disneyland. Like more so even than my brother, because he was real young.
I remember there were still paper fast passes back then.
Right. Like Avengers Campus wasn't even like a conceived idea yet. It hadn't even been announced.
I was going to say there was a lot of changes since then.
A lot has changed. And I think that was part of why we became all in, because it was like, not only is this like a new adjacent experience for us, it has changed so much. So why not really like go in and like lean into that change? And I was really, for the most part, like pleasantly surprised by what I did not remember.
Yeah. It was like going for the first time for
And during a big celebration time too, with the 70th anniversary just kicking off recently, which I kind of would love to, you know, again, living vicariously through you all. What went through your mind when you stepped onto Main Street USA and you're seeing it decorated for the 70th? You know, it's, you know, usually beautiful anyways, but then on top of that, you know, that celebration spirit. What were you thinking? What did you feel when you first stepped into there?
I think it's definitely a different vibe. Like there was an energy that was like, this has existed and has not lost popularity or relevance for so long. And they did a lot of stressing of like the new Small World verse. Like that was the thing that we kept hearing over and over again. I will say it felt a lot like the Disney World 50th. A lot of the things that they did for the Disney World 50th were similar in the Disneyland 70th. And I almost wish that there had been more emphasis on like, this is the first park and this has been here forever and 70 years. Like that's a person's whole lifetime. Like consider that. And I wish they kind of leaned into that a little bit more. But there were ways to find that, like the whole like Walt Disney show, like that definitely like came at the right time with the 70th. I think that brings a lot of like the nostalgia of it being like the original. The small world verse also, like anything involving like the Sherman brothers, I think definitely like hits the nostalgia
Right.
point. And then
Well, it was decorated. I mean, they had that, but beyond that, it was mostly just the decorations they had. I mean, they had the 70th logo in a bunch of spots in both parks. The plaza between the two parks had a big display and a lot of flags up, so there was a lot of photo opportunities for people to take pictures.
I remember walking around. Sorry, I could.
I was just saying, we only walked through the main entrance once. After that, we entered the park through the monorail station at Tomorrowland. But
I never did that.
Well, that's what I did. But Michelle, to your point, it still is as charming as ever. I mean, you walk in and you realize that the Walt's apartment is still there and the light is still on, and the band is walking around and they're playing, and so all the normal charm of Disneyland was definitely on display all the time. And of course, it's Southern California. At around 9:45, when the haze and the clouds start to disappear, by 10 a.m., it's just beautiful blue sky the rest of the day. And so it was really, I think all the charm that's normally there was there. And then with the added sort of just the different decorations and the things that they had, like to Mimi's point about the Sherman Brothers song, they emphasized that a little bit here and there. And, but other than that, it felt, I didn't feel that there was a lot of cramming an anniversary down your throat. I think they had some stuff up to remind you, but for the most part, they just wanted people to enjoy the fact that they were in Disneyland.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like the nuance. That's kind of, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just kind of a slap in your face of like 70.
Yeah.
You
want there's
that?
Plenty of merch. If you wanted to buy something with the 70th on it, you
sure.
could. And we didn't buy one of these. There was they were still selling t-shirts. I was there on the day, like the actual birthday. They had those shirts everywhere. And they were trying to sell them. And it was like 2 weeks ago. And it was like,
I remember thinking like we could totally buy this shirt and nobody would ever
know.
Nobody
Right?
would ever know because they're selling it 2-3 weeks later. Like, this is so funny.
Right.
It was.
Yeah, that's crazy actually to me.
Well, I guess unless you have like locals who didn't pick it up when they were actually there on the day, and
we need to see proof. Where's your ticket? Where's your pass? We need to see
literally.
So you're back in Disneyland. Obviously you visited both. I would assume 4 days you visited both parks. Was there, when you got in there, I mean, I know, obviously Disneyland, just like Magic Kingdom, you have the normal lands, you have Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Frontierland, but was there a land or attraction or some show that kind of, maybe was bigger to you or really left an impression on you in your visit to Disneyland?
Yeah, this one's definitely my kind of question, I think. Because, okay, like, if you want to talk specific to Disneyland, all four of us really enjoyed Indiana Jones. Like, we could just have ridden it over and over again. We had never experienced that ride. We didn't do it in 2017. And there was a lot of hype, lived up to the hype. I think we claimed a lightning lane for it every single day of our trip. Indiana Jones is definitely like the fallback attraction. When we go to Orlando, the fallback attraction in Magic Kingdom is definitely pirates. We're like, oh, we have nothing to do. Like, want to go ride pirates? That's what it was like at Indiana Jones. The two of us really enjoyed our time at Avengers Campus a lot more than I think I thought I would. Like, going into it, I was like, okay, it's like only one attraction, or it's like 1.5 attractions because Guardians is like all the way on the other side of it. So like, to me, it's like not even attached. This is like 1.5 attractions, lots of meet and greets, super crowded. But I remember like really enjoying my time that we spent in Avengers Campus. And then this one's not specific to Disneyland, but Tiana's for sure was like so much fun. And I don't think that riding it in Orlando will give me the same feeling as riding it for the first time in California did, because that was awesome. Super enjoyed it. And everyone says that the one in California is better anyway. And
Right.
I probably believe them.
For me, I agree with Mimi. I thought Indiana Jones was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. We all had a great time riding Indiana Jones. I would say things that stand out. Well, we did something as a family we had never done before at any Disney park on this trip, and that was we sprung for one of the special tours. So we did the 70th anniversary. It's like a 4 hour long or 2 hour long.
It was like a 2 hour long
tour.
celebrate happy 70th anniversary tour.
Right. And they took you on the train and you went around and you went to each of the lands and stuff. That was a lot of fun. And even though, and Mimi and I were talking about this the other day, we recognize that we may have more Disney parks knowledge than the average person. So it wasn't that we learned so much on the tour that we didn't know already, but just being with a tour guide and walking around and having them tell the story was really neat. That tour came with like a special pin and a fast lightning lane pass to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was included in the tour, and we had special seating for the Paint the Night parade that evening. Right?
That was the best part of the tour for me. I loved the Paint the Night parade. I wanted to watch it every night. I thought it was so good. It was so much fun. The special seating on the tour, like, that was awesome. Yeah. That was so cool.
So that stood out to me, the fact that we were able to do a tour and listen to one of the tour guides tell us a story about Disneyland and some of the stuff there, which was really neat.
That's good to know, because we were thinking about doing that tour when we get out there. We're not going till January, but we were thinking if that tour still is in place, because we love Paint the Night. So we were thinking about possibly with that aspect being a part of it, of doing it. Right, Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, consider you're talking about Paint the Night, and Mimi, I know I heard you talk on your show how much you really did like that. What was it about that parade that really connected with you?
I just thought it was beautiful. Like it had all the flashiness I think that Orlando has versus, I feel like when I think about Disneyland, and given my experience at Disneyland, a lot of what they do is very like subdued, nostalgic. It's supposed to give you like a warm, fuzzy feeling, versus Disney World is going to give you like the, look at this cool stuff we can do with fireworks and like all this like crazy, like we're going to put a person in the air and she's going to be Tinkerbell and she's going to fly. And like that, and I felt like Paint the Night like totally hit that mark for me, like right in the middle. Like it was right in between the like, look at this flashy cool stuff we can do with technology, and also hitting every single nostalgia point exactly where you need it to be. I liked the soundtrack a lot. I really liked the soundtrack. I thought all of the franchises that were featured in it were the correct ones that I would have picked for the 70th anniversary. Like going back to what I say about Hollywood studios, like, I think what Disney's really leaning into with their anniversaries and like, sort of the face of the brand in the parks is what makes them successful. And I think if you want to celebrate the anniversary of Disneyland, I think definitely like celebrating the franchises that make you successful is a positive way to do that, even if they're not represented in the parks. Like all 6 fairies were in the parade. That was so cool. When was the last time you saw all 6 fairies? Never. Like Pride Night, maybe? Like, and I just thought that was so cool. I can't get the Jessie bit out of my head. Like before Slinky Dog and Woody and Buzz come around, like Jessie has these like little cowgirls and they have these like yo-yos and they're like spinning them. That was like so funny. I looked at my mom when she walked past and I was like, that was so diva. Like that was so diva. Like, okay. And I grew up in a Disney, merchandise or Disney World canon that didn't celebrate Jessie. Jessie wasn't in anything. Like we looked all over Disney World for a Jessie pin when I was 6 and they didn't have any. And like, it was so nice to finally see her get her moment. And it was I could go on and on about this parade. I just thought it was like, it was so much fun. And
it was very well done. It was very nice. It was a beautiful parade to watch. So on a technical sense, the soundtrack is great. The characters are great, but the way it's presented with the lights and the then the way they used the technology was really,
I really couldn't
was
look
really
away.
good.
Like it
Yeah.
really had me just absolutely locked into it. And I think it's really the funniest part about it is like Mickey's at the end, Sorcerer Mickey, yay, hooray, of course. And then he's got this weird like thing next to him that looks like a tesseract, but like not the Marvel tesseract, like a scientifically accurate tesseract. It's kind of like folding in on itself, like the wormhole from Interstellar. I was like, that's a great way to end this parade with whatever that is. Perfect.
Punctuation right there.
I will,
That's it.
I will say this though, when you're talking about the nighttime stuff, I think one that gets overlooked that we really liked were both shows in Galaxy's Edge at night.
Yes, those were cool.
Both of them were really, really good. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it is an emotional experience because they do the Skywalker saga as a projection show with music, and there's like a narrator and they're telling the story. It's like an old storyteller on Batu, and he's being 3D projected because it's like it's really, really well done. And then after that, there's a separate show with fireworks, and we sort of a last minute impulse was to buy the package from Docking Bay 7 to give you access to the upper level seating so you could see everything. And I would say those shows were very good, and they should be seen. The Docking Bay 7 food that you get, not so much an enticing part of the deal, but the experience was really cool. And you got a free picture, and they give you, and you got a pin for that
The pin
too.
was cool.
And you got a primo spot to see both shows.
Yeah.
Because they're right above, the Millennium Falcon. And so Paint the Night was really good. And that show was, those shows were outstanding.
In the spirit of keeping it positive, we will not talk about the Docking Bay 7 food experience. We'll just avoid it altogether. If you want to hear that negative take, you can listen to our version of the show because
Spoiler alert.
y'all show is
this is the show of the
positive show.
positivity.
And I love that for you guys.
Right.
So we will avoid talking about that. But I will say that despite the fact that none of us ate anything for dinner that day, the spot that you get to view the shows from is worth it. Is it worth the price point? No. But we walked away from it and we were like, yeah, the food was bad, but this was awesome and Papa loved it. That's really what the thing was.
Everything is going to be a premium cost, but it was, by the time you bought dinner, you're going to end up spending almost that much on dinner anyway. And it was fine. So
yeah, I mean, it's neither here nor there. We stayed and watched World of Color and California Adventure, and I liked World of Color. I don't have any super strong feelings about it. I liked it. I thought it was cute, fun. I did not expect to get absolutely drenched at the very end. I know that they say you're going to get wet, and I was like, oh, mist, maybe a few drops, whatever. No, not that they're going to dump gallons of water on your head at 9:00 at night.
It was cold. It was real
so
cold.
Funny. I couldn't do anything but laugh. I was like, this is hilarious. Why did they end the show this way? This is so awkward and funny and silly. And I remember whenever the water would shoot up really high, I would look up at it because I thought that was so cool that water could be so powerful that it goes all the way up in the air like that. Yeah. And I looked up and I was like, oh, that kind of looks like it's coming down on us. And then boom, I was drenched. It was such a cartoonish moment.
And if you need a good Muppets fix,
the Muppets
pre-show of World of Color is hilarious.
The Muppets are really so good.
Yeah.
I was fully nighttime entertained at the Disneyland Resort.
Now I got to ask, more drenched on Tiana's or World of Color?
World of Color. World of Color, bro.
It was.
World of Color was
a shower.
Head to toe dripping.
I mean, it was, you were drenched like you would would jumped into the lake.
This sweatshirt was still wet the next day. Yeah. It was a drenched. Tiana,
there were signs that say you will get wet. And we got there early, and so we staked out a front row near the front row to see everything.
It was really important to me that we sat in the front.
When that bucket of water came down, I was like, ugh. And I mean, look, we're
At least you
adults.
were close. You didn't
The
have to
little
trudge
kids
through
who got
for-
drenched were just, they went into hysterics. I
These
mean, there
poor
were a
babies.
lot of young
Aw.
children all around us, and when they got drenched, the parents were scrambling to put them back in
Oh,
their strollers,
no.
and
no.
because they were like
And get-
Oh,
screaming because
no,
it was.
that's too
I
bad.
mean, it was cold. I mean, it was a 10 o'clock show or 9:30, 10 o'clock show at night, and it was about 70, 65, 70 degrees outside, and that water
Yeah.
came down.
It was too chilly to
And
be
it
wet
was,
in,
but it was,
basically.
look, the show was great.
The show was great.
Yeah.
Tiana's, I didn't get that wet in. I like it. I know everyone says you get drenched in Tiana's, but I didn't find it to be that bad. The thing that kept coming up with Tiana's was like only one side of my body would get splashed, and I'm not really sure how that's possible. Like consistently, like it would be like my right side, and then my left side, and my left side again. Same thing with my mom. Like I don't know what it is about the weight distribution when we ride, I guess, but it was just like my left shoe
I'm
was
not
really wet
touching that at all.
and like nothing else. Like, but I loved Tiana's. It didn't even matter. I was totally okay getting completely drenched on that ride if that's what
Yeah.
it meant to take it. It was like awesome. Like I'm so glad I finally got on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've touched on food. We won't go into Docking Bay 7 too much here, but we love a lot of the Disneyland food. We need to find out what you thought of the food. Was there anything that stood out to you as being
Yeah. What was your
Yes.
most delicious discovery?
right? What did you enjoy out there? Let's say that.
What did we try?
So there were things we didn't. There were places we didn't eat at that if I was going back to Disneyland, I would put on my list to go to. Like we didn't go to Bengal Barbecue, and I almost went once, but the family just, they're not barbecue, right? We didn't go to Lamplight Lounge, you know, and we wanted to get a dinner. The World of Color was part of a dinner package as well,
Mm.
but we didn't do the lamplight option. We did one with, what was the name of the place?
At Wine Country.
Wine Country.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was not the best.
It was actually fine. It totally hit the spot for what I wanted in that
I
moment.
mean, you know, if but I would say for me, well, we start every day eating in the club for breakfast, right? So we didn't really go anywhere to eat breakfast, and it was okay. It's a different breakfast than in Florida. I hope if you want salmon for breakfast, it's a great place to be, but that was about your protein option was salmon every morning, which is fine. I eat salmon, but it was like,
It was
is
a
there
different
any-
experience than
is
the
there any
club at the
bacon?
Poly,
Is there
for
any
sure.
sausage or bacon or?
None
But it
of-
was fine.
Oh,
But
goodness.
I would say food wise, the best meal. So these are the things I think we had that were the best. I am originally from New Orleans, so eating Tiana's menu comes with a healthy degree of skepticism. But I did enjoy the muffaletta sandwich that I had. I thought it was good, and it was appropriate to a New Orleans made muffaletta. My son, I think, had
The gumbo.
and
He liked it.
It
He ate
was good. It was close. It was good, right? It wasn't like sometimes you get gumbo some places it's like soup. It wasn't like that. The beignets at Tiana's Palace, are they're very much like New Orleans beignets, right?
Except they're made
Very
with
much.
vanilla. New Orleans beignets aren't made with any flavoring. That's just dough.
But
It's
they
sugar.
were very good and close.
But they were good. They were probably my favorite thing that we ate the whole time.
But I would say, other than that, we did eat at Blue Bayou, and I had the Monte Cristo, which I had been wanting to do because it's the signature meal, the dish there. And I was satisfied with it. I think I was telling Mimi the only part of that meal that I thought was not quite, that I thought they could plus up a little bit was, I don't want a side of potato chips with this meal. I'm spending $30-something on a sandwich. Can I get, I mean, I guess I could have asked, but the default is potato chips. I was like, can you, how about a vegetable or something else? Right. But I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I would have it again. That was probably the best thing we had that I had on this trip. I don't remember many of the other. I mean, we did a lot of quick service stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all.
There
It
was
fine,
a point in the week where I just really wanted like a bad theme park hamburger, and I got exactly that. Like, that totally hit the mark for what I wanted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where sometimes you're like, man, I just really want something that's like greasy with American cheese. That sounds amazing. And so we did that one of the days. I at Tiana's Palace, I usually get a kids meal wherever we go. I just don't have like the biggest appetite, and there's nothing to do with the fact that I'm a picky eater. Like, I just wish that like big like adult meals came in smaller portion sizes, because I just like don't
You
eat
like
that much.
your cutie.
Yes, I love the cuties. Okay, that's a completely separate thing. But I got mac and cheese at Tiana's Palace because I have to continue my I don't even know what it is, like journey to figure out like which restaurant has like the best mac and cheese in the whole Disney park like canon. Tiana's wasn't bad. It was baked, which is a little bit different than how they do it at most of the places in Disney World. I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of dry, but it's probably better if you get it inside rather than mobile order. So I can acknowledge that. And that was fine. We ate, one of the things you did mention was the Pim's Test Kitchen. We did eat there. And then you got a drink at the lab. I got the kids like fried chicken sandwich. It was fine. Like, no complaints. Would probably get it again. I wish we had tried the pretzel. But I really just like didn't want all that bread. At Blue Bayou, I got the chicken, like I think it's just like the chicken dish, like it's just chicken, rice, and jambalaya, and it was good. Like I said, I don't eat very much. I ate all the chicken. I did do that, and I ate all the shrimp, but I didn't finish all the rice and stuff. It was pretty good. I would go back to Blue Bayou.
Yeah,
I think those were probably. I think Blue Bayou, the Mickey beignets, that's kind of like what stood out to me the most. I got really into popcorn on this trip. Like, I bought a popcorn bucket. Like that.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I bought the basic, like little, like the round one
for the 70th.
For the 70th.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I am in a place where I could buy like the Mickey head one. I just would rather get my nails done instead. I love popcorn buckets, but I would rather get my nails done instead for the same price. So I got the little one. Where else did we eat?
Well, I mean, your brother and I, of course we got our Ronto wrap because he loves them and I love them. So, you know,
I don't like anything that's served in Galaxy's Edge. Like, we have to eat somewhere else and then go to Galaxy's Edge. That's why Mom and I always go to Andy's Lunch Box.
The one thing that they have at the Ronto wraps in Disneyland is they do have a vegan option. And it's actually
different than the one that's in.
Yes.
They do have a vegetarian option at Disney's Hollywood. Different.
It's like a salad in a wrap.
Yeah, it's much better at.
Yeah,
I still go. I still go for the classic.
Yeah, the Disneyland
one. Loves that.
Yeah,
one,
it's like it's actually like the sausage, only it's vegetarian sausage, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
nice.
I wonder why they don't do that in both parks.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I know they have to do some things. I don't want the parks to be the same. And I know they have some things that are similar and so on. But I was telling Mimi this too. I think what this trip did for me is it affirmed something that I think Disney's probably very proud of. Whether they do it intentionally or not, they probably do this intentionally. Disneyland, its core purpose was never supposed to be this grand family vacation spot. It was always a weekend, take your family, spend a day, spend 2 days, go home. It was never intended to be a destination trip. And it still stays true in my mind. Like, we were there 4 days, and the truth is, as much fun as we were having, we could have gone home after day 3 and not have missed anything. Because near the end of the trip, literally, we were like, there's nothing else we want to do. Like, we've done everything. I don't want to do Pirates again. I don't want to do Indiana Jones again. And, we didn't stay till park closed. Like, we went back to the room, and of course I had to get up the next morning and fly back, but it was never intended to be that. And I think what it has done is, Disney World, its whole purpose was, we're going to build a vacation destination for families to all come to and travel to. And I think it's good that Disneyland stays more intimate, and more confined, even though I know they're doing some expansion. I would just say it felt more crowded than it probably was because of the the traffic lanes are smaller, right? And so it feels more trafficy than it really is, because I don't think we waited very long for much of any ride. But if you were walking between lands, it felt like it was packed with people, right? But
because it's
we
just
never
smaller.
really,
Like it's a
right,
way more intimate experience
right,
for sure. It doesn't feel like this giant commercial theme park thing. Like it definitely feels like it, you totally feel the fact that it's a locals park, I guess is kind of the point. Like you definitely feel that. And that doesn't like ruin the experience. It doesn't make the experience any more negative. You just there's like a totally different vibe. And like my brother kind of said it like in this like sort of flippant, like jokey way. But he was like, there are way fewer families wearing matching t-shirts here. And
mhm,
like he's right. There are fewer families wearing matching t-shirts there because it's just not that kind of place. It's a totally different vibe altogether.
right. And speaking of vibes, I would say, um, I love the way the characters are there and interacting and going around. I mean, when Alice is riding the teacup, right?
I wish
And
they were able to do that in Orlando so badly.
I spent a whole day in Galaxy's Edge because I wanted to run into Boba Fett. I wanted to run into Ahsoka. I wanted to see
That's a
Luke.
good story. Tell that story.
Well, the Ahsoka story was really interesting because I was looking on the app and I was like, okay, because no one else cared. Like I was like, I want to go see Ahsoka, and the rest of the family was like,
No,
so
that
what,
is
right?
not the
Well,
story.
you wanted to, but
That is
so
not no. Okay, because it's
I,
my turn to tell a story if you're going
nope,
to tell it wrong.
nope, nope.
What
nope,
is that
nope,
about?
nope. So I went to see Ahsoka, and the rest of the family was riding.
We were on
something.
Tiana's,
They were
and
on
we said,
Tiana's.
hold our stuff while we ride
Right.
Tiana's.
So
We'll
I
see you in
had
40 minutes.
so I was like, tell me you're the dad on vacation without saying you're the dad on vacation. I had the backpack for the family. I had Mimi's Loungefly, which had two different sets of mini ears attached to them and other assorted things, right? So I'm carrying this stuff, and I
You
had
had mom's purse.
had
Like
your mother's
my brother's
shoulder
jacket.
bag, your brother's jacket, right? So I had like calipers on my bag, all linked to other people's bags, right? So I was literally like a camel going across the desert, right, with all the stuff. And so I see Ahsoka, and no one's talking to her. Like she's standing in like the shadow in this little area with the attendant, and they're talking. And she's not trying to not engage. It's just that she's embedded into the environment, right? And she's there. And so I walk up. I said, "Oh, it Ahsoka." And then the attendants, "Oh, Lady Tano, you have a visitor would like to speak with you." And so she looks at me and she says, "Where are the rest of your travelers? I see you're carrying all this cargo. Where are the rest of your travelers?" And I was like, on some distant galaxy far, far away. They're, and she's like, "Oh, they're missing out because this is a very special." And then one of the pair of ears that Mimi had me hold was her Ahsoka ears. Like they are Ahsoka themed ears. And Ahsoka saw them, and she goes, I think she called them spheres. She goes, "Those spheres look very interesting. May I see them?" And so I had to take them off the thing, and she
my
goes,
very elaborate
and she
system where I
goes,
had them like
"Are
tied
one
up
of the
together.
travelers that is missing our interaction? Do those spheres belong to one of the travelers?" I said, "Yes." "Well, that traveler is missing out on a very special moment." And she goes, we're gonna take some images, right? Because they took my phone to take images. And she goes, "I want you to hold those spheres up there for our images so that she understands what she's missing," right? And so we took these pictures, and I said, I stumped Ahsoka, I think, because I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm 53 years old. I don't know what to say, right? And so I said, "Lady Tano, many people are hurting right now. Do you have any words of hope and wisdom that we can share with people who are hurting in our world?" And I could, for a flash, her face was like, "I don't have an answer to this." And she kind of looked at the attendant. And I said, and of course, I work in education, so I tried to prompt her again. I said, any advice that you may have for someone to help them feel better. And then she went into a little dialogue around, have faith in your community and have faith in yourself, and believe in the good things in your life that you have, and lean on people, and be a good person in your community. So she gave some little answer. But then I said, the traveler from whom these spheres belong absolutely is going to be devastated that she didn't get to meet
Right,
you.
because I've been talking about the fact that Ahsoka is in Disneyland and not in Disney World for years. Since the show release.
So I finished the interaction and whatever, and Ahsoka leaves, right? Flash forward, they emerge, and I give Mimi her ears, and what happens?
So we meet Papa in Galaxy's Edge, because we had like our Rise lightning lane or whatever. And, we're standing in line for Rise, and he tells me this story. I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like, that cannot be real. Like, there's no way we came all the way out here and I missed her. Because Galaxy's Edge is like tucked in the back. Like, we were not going back after this day. Like, I guess we could have, but it would have been a hard sell for us to be like, yes, let's walk all the way back there so Mimi can talk to Ahsoka. Like, no, no, that was not happening. And so we get off Rise, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Mandalorian. Nope, it was Boba Fett. But that's not the point. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Boba Fett. And like, right. And so we walk up, and the attendant, I'm wearing my ears at this point, and the attendant's like, are you the traveler that was looking for Lady Tano? And I was like, yeah, because it's like the same attendant. And she was like, she pulls out her little schedule, and she's like, Lady Tano might be returning in like 20 minutes. Stick around. And I was like, okay. And I looked at her, and I was like, I really appreciate the paper schedule. I think that's really funny. And she was like, that's not what this is. This is it's a star chart. It's a star chart. That's not a schedule.
Not a paper schedule. What are you talking about? A paper schedule?
Like, that's something that is a totally different reality. The cast members at Disneyland, way more like just so different, but that's a totally different thing. So we stick around, we wait, and then 5:45 rolls around, and she's nowhere. Like, Pop and I start like wandering around Galaxy's Edge. Like, she's nowhere.
Yeah, she was supposed to be out there.
She was supposed to be out there. She was nowhere.
She's not.
And so I'm like, let's just like sit outside the bathrooms. There's like the heart of like the market or whatever. And I like turn over, and like there she is. She's like staring at me. She's like staring at me. And she comes running up to me, and she's like, I was testing your like Jedi forces or whatever. Like, I was going to sneak up on you, and you noticed me instantly. And I was like, my bad, whatever. And like, we talk, we take pictures, are cute. She obviously knew that I'm like a huge fan. And, like, Ahsoka's a really important character to me, and has become really more important to me over the summer. As I've like lost someone that's like really, really, really special to me. And so I asked her like what it was like losing Ezra, and like how to move on from that. And she gave me like advice. Like, she's not my therapist, and like, obviously not, but it was really like comforting in like a very healing the inner child way to hear a character that I love and care about so much, like, basically live through what I'm living through now, to her extent, to her knowledge in the canon, in the lore. Basically, like, we know Ezra's alive. She doesn't know that. She thinks he's dead. And to basically like live through like a similar, basically like an identical situation, and then tell me that's going to be okay, was like definitely comforting to like something like deep inside me. Yeah. Like, throwing out the logical adult in me, like, very like comforting and nice to hear from her. So yeah, that's a fun story.
That was special. And I would say, just to put the cherry on top of the character meets, Mimi insisted there were only one other than so there was only one other character that Mimi insisted on meeting, and that was Steve Rogers, Captain America. And the guy, Captain America, came out, and Mimi went and got in the line, and whoever that was the perfect Captain America. And we were almost to the front of the line, and then he got a call from Tony Stark, and he had to leave.
And I'm checking my app, and it's like, he's not supposed to come back for 45 minutes.
And the attendant's like, don't worry, Captain America will be back in about 5 minutes. It's a quick call to Mr. Stark. It's just a quick check-in, blah, blah, blah. And so then Steve Rogers, Captain America, comes back out, and
a slightly different
it's
looking.
a slightly not quite as tall, but still Steve Rogers, Captain America. And Mimi looks at him, she goes, That's not Captain America that got in line. And but he was great. The guy was fantastic. We both got up there and we met him.
He was on it. He was
That
like,
was
"Is that
great.
a Wanda Maximoff backpack?" And I was like, "Yes, it is a
She
Wanda
had her
Maximoff
Wanda backpack.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Did you know she was here today?"
She missed
was
Wanda
in Galaxy. She was
which
in
is like
Avengers
her
Campus.
second character, but after Ahsoka.
I own 2 pairs of Scarlet Witch ears and the Loungefly, and I had no idea she was in Avengers Campus. Are you freaking kidding me right now? I was like,
well,
now,
the
Steve.
attendants told Mimi it was not on the schedule.
I was like,
she
now,
just
Steve.
she goes, Wanda just decided to show up on her own today. Just appeared.
But I look at him and I go, now, Steve, why didn't you call me? What is that about? Why didn't you tell me about this when it occurred? That whole interaction was like really funny. He was really on it. I asked him how many times people say "on your left" to him, and he thought that was really funny. And I insisted that we take our picture going like this.
Yeah, we all saluted.
And that whole interact, like the characters are just like so much more.
And my favorite by far was Red Guardian.
Yes, you enjoyed your interaction with Red
He
Guardian.
was getting ready to leave, and he was loud, and he was funny, and he was talking to everybody. And I walked up and I said, "Now that is a real super soldier." And he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah!" And it was so funny. I mean, everybody started laughing. He's like, "That is right. Russia make the best super soldier. This guy, I like him." And I was like, well, it's all good.
That totally leads into like
fun.
Our experience in Avengers Campus. We loved it.
We had a great time. We had a great time, but maybe Tom and Michelle have some questions for us before we
No, actually, I think we were going to ask you more about Avengers Campus.
Part episode if we keep this up. So
no, I love it. We love it.
I mean, our last episode we talked about making a superhero team, with Disney characters. With
right,
you guys.
right.
So, we know we love Marvel. So yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in knowing just first of all when you're walking into there and that iconic music is playing and you're walking in and you're seeing all the things that you associate with Marvel right there on Avengers Campus.
Yeah. So we talk about a couple of things on our show we think everyone who goes to a Disney park exists on some kind of a spectrum between vibe chaser and ride crusher. Right. So you're either there to do all the rides or just to hang out and absorb the feels. Right. I am much more of a vibe chaser. I could care less about riding the rides. Right. I think Avengers Campus is so vibey. It is a vibe place because it's only, they got the Guardians ride and the web slinging ride, which we did a couple of times, which is fine. I'm not going to do the Guardians ride. That's my bag. But I could hang out in Avengers Campus and watch the characters and listen to the music and watch the kids get all excited when the heroes show up. I mean, to me, that was, I really enjoyed it. I know some people, it's not their cup of tea because it's not very, there's not a lot of rides and something, but for a person that just wants to soak up the Disney vibe, I thought that was great. I mean, Cars Land is great because I do all the rides in Cars Land, but I thought Avengers Campus was, I thought it was really cool.
I felt like a little kid, 100%. I was totally in my element. And it's probably for the best that I did not run into Wanda because I probably would have been like screaming and crying and like having a completely abnormal reaction to this other like adult actress standing in front of me. Like it probably would like have been really embarrassing and like like whatever. Like I would have totally come out of my skin. But I loved it. Like I thought it was perfect. I don't love how it's not lore accurate, but that's me as a comic book fan, not necessarily like from a Disney parks perspective, it's perfect. I love it. But most of the characters that walk around in there are like dead or like don't exist anymore. So I'm like, okay, like fine, whatever.
All good in the multiverse.
It's fine, like whatever. But I literally felt like a little kid. Like we were just sort of standing around and not doing anything, trying to figure out what we wanted to do next.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like Sam the Eagle, Doctor Strange,
Sam the Eagle, the Captain America.
Captain America, Sam the Captain
We
America.
call him Sam the Eagle.
Right. Because he used to be the Falcon and now he's America, so he's the Eagle.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Get it? It's funny. Okay, so
I got it.
It was good.
Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Black Panther, and
T'Challa, Black Panther, because later in the evening it was Shuri, Black Panther.
yes,
Yeah.
she was super cool. Different story. And Star-Lord all come out and they do this like little show with the kids. And I think I'm the only person that's ever screamed this, but I screamed. I was like, oh my God, it's Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man. And the character attendant that was standing with Ant-Man kind of like looked at me like, whose favorite character is Ant-Man?
That's right.
Me? Like, Ant-Man is really funny, guys. Okay, don't hate on Ant-Man. And like, just being there and seeing the heroes walk around, seeing heroes I didn't expect to see, like Monica Rambeau, super cool. Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Loki, and Thor together. Both iterations of Black Panther, Groot. Both iterations of Captain America. We did not see Iron Man. We totally
he came out, but he was there, but we didn't see
But we
him,
didn't
but I
like
know
go
he
around the
came
corner,
out.
but we know
Yeah.
he was there. Spider-Man's putting in long hours, dude. Like whoever is Spider-Man is making overtime because every time I walked by his ride, he was standing there. Like not once was he not there with a giant line behind him. It was just it felt like it was just exactly what it needed to be. It was perfect. And like the Quinjet and the Sanctum and like I don't really quite understand what the little like ball water feature thing is, like where the Marvels hang out. I don't really know what that is. Web slinger, like it's just like each area is obviously like for a different set of characters, but it blends so well.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I did too. Yeah. Good stuff. And when they build the new ride, which I know they're building now,
I'll be first in line.
What I hope is
2 new rides.
I hope they don't put the characters all out as often as they do because there's not as many rides. I hope that when they add rides, they don't cut back on the number of characters that are out. Because part of my intuition is because there's only web slingers and guardians, they pack the place with characters for people to go around and see and interact. But if they add more attractions, I think they'll be tempted to pull back on some of the characters to get people to go.
I don't think that'll go
maybe
anywhere.
not.
I don't think that'll go anywhere because it's proved itself successful and it's something that people really love.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, if I'm seeing a Disney Parks video, it's probably an interaction at Avengers Campus.
Yeah. It was lots of fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Right. You like it, I think, exactly for the reasons that we love it.
Right.
I know some people, like you were mentioning, it's not their cup of tea. It's not, maybe they want to be attraction heavy. Maybe they don't get the character, but we just love, especially in the evenings, just sitting there, maybe grabbing a beer from Pim's Test Lab over there and just sitting there and watching, experiencing the whole space, all the character interactions. It's just, to us, it's perfect. And of course we were spoiled because we went there luckily we were blessed to be there on the very first day. And the first thing we did when we walked in there, when we weren't sure we were going to get in, was the Avengers theme kicked in right as we were walking in there. It's like, that's it.
I cried.
We're good. We're good.
It's
This is it. This is heaven.
It's special for sure. Like we have to go back at Halloween and meet Wanda. Like that is something that I'm putting on the bucket list. Like that has to happen. I was so sad that I had missed her.
Yeah.
It's a perfect area. It's so good. And I like that they use the Avengers music and not like a different like park specific song. Like the Avengers theme song is the correct choice. Like that's right.
Yep.
By the way, I think hearing all this, I think that you should really discuss doing a Marvel Day at Sea Cruise, a Disney cruise. I mean, they're sailing out of Galveston this next year, not too far away from y'all. Just saying, maybe that's a discussion for another time, but I wanted to bring that up because of how much you love Marvel.
Yeah, that would have to be a Mimi and Papa only adventure. There's no chance Mrs. Disney Assemble is ever going to get on a boat.
My mom's not getting on a boat.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
But hey, oh well.
Never know.
You
Never know.
Great.
But yeah.
Well, one of the things I did want to ask about, and I know you've already touched on Galaxy's Edge, but the way that they transition into Galaxy's Edge and back out, what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, can I take this one? Because I actually talked about this.
Yeah.
I thought it was way more efficient, way more effective in Disneyland than it is in Disney World. Okay. This is the kind of thing that I want to do for Walt Disney Imagineering. Okay. This specific thing is my dream job. And I think that it works so well in Disneyland. I think a part of that is that you never come at Galaxy's Edge from an awkward angle. You're always coming at Galaxy's Edge from a part of the park that has a very like nature-based situation. Like you're not coming from Fantasyland. You're not even coming from Toontown. Like there's no door to get in from Toontown. Okay. You're coming from Frontierland, or you're coming from New Orleans Square, or that weird secret back entrance that's in like the back part of Fantasyland, but like there isn't really anything over
Bayou
there.
Country. You're going through Bayou Country.
Are you?
Yeah. By the Hungry Bear.
What did I say?
Frontierland.
It's all the same now. It's all the same now.
It's always the same.
I caveat, I don't really understand the Disneyland map. We were there for 4 days and I still don't really understand the Disneyland map. But you come in from areas of the park that are heavily centered around like the nature and like what makes like that is what sets it apart from something else. It's not attraction based, it's not character based, it's not sound or sight. Like it's definitely like the nature, the rocks, the trees, etc. And I think it's really, really simple to transition from a Frontierland rock to a Galaxy's Edge rock. Full stop. I think it's also really easy to transition from a flute used in a Frontiersy Western song to a flute used in a Star Wars song. Same thing with from Bayou Country. I think it's a lot easier. Same thing with Bayou Country because they lean in heavily into those dark greens, dark purples, and grays, and those are the colors that are used in Galaxy's Edge. So maybe we're not going from rock to rock, but we're going from dark purple to dark blue, or we're going from green to gray. Like those are colors that are sort of similar. The music transition's a little more awkward there, but you don't even notice it because it kind of goes out and it becomes like its own transition thing, and then you hit the Galaxy's Edge music. Versus in Orlando, you're going from like Toy Story, and it's like it's very distinct, very bright, and then Galaxy's Edge.
I thought the entrance from Bayou Country was more gradual because there's nothing leading into it, right? You get past the restaurant and you're just walking next to the river and there's some foliage and then it just sort of appears. So it's a more gradual transition there. I did like the 3 different ways in and out, right? So the additional one being, because the one that goes out through Frontierland is essentially the one in Florida that goes to Toy Story Land. But the extra one is you go through where the first order is and you go straight out like under the banner. And that is not accessible in Florida. That's just sort of like a wall. And that was interesting to go out through that way. So having 3, I got confused because like the land is exactly laid out exactly the same and everything else, but it's like, well, wait a minute, where does that go? Because I know this goes there and that goes there. But
the only thing that I really thought was a design flaw in it is that it's too far away from everything else. It is like literally on the opposite end of the world from like no matter what entrance you use, there's nothing, and then there's Galaxy's Edge, and I found that to be something that was really frustrating. But I think thematically from a story perspective, I think that works, right? Because it's like, how do you fit Star Wars into Disneyland? Because Disneyland is like Magic Kingdom. It's its own entity. It's a theme park. It's carousels. It's cotton candy, popcorn, fireworks. How do you add on Star Wars to that? And I think that having like utilizing dead space to really sort of separate the two makes it an effective story.
Mm-hmm.
But the like downside to that is that it's just really far away.
Well, it made it was easier to believe you had left Disneyland,
right?
Because you're there long enough, you almost forget you were in Disneyland, and then you walk out, and that was, I think that to Mimi's point, yes, and I think it's a plus that they were able to do it that way, because if it had been too tightly interwoven, you would have had way too much Disneyland stuff still visible
Right.
and so forth. So I thought it's well designed. And I think again, having to go that way, maybe a reason why they put more characters out, right? It gives you a reason to walk back there that normally you wouldn't have to walk back there. I'd hoped that R2D2 was going to be around with Luke, and he wasn't, but I guess R2's, I give him male pronouns, but
Rise works. Every
and
scene
Rise
in Rise
worked.
worked
Every
in
part of the
California.
technology on Rise of the
Every
Resistance
single
worked.
scene worked. And I think the only other time I've ever written it where
Yeah.
everything worked was the first time we went to it, like a week after it opened in Orlando.
Yeah, everything worked.
I was shocked. I was so excited. Like we went in the gun room and I was like, wait a second.
Those guns move.
The guns move. Or better yet, we're in here at all.
Right.
Because there was a period of time where we were on C mode in Orlando. We didn't even go in there.
Right.
It was awesome. I was like, this ride is so cool when it works.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it doesn't work, it's still,
Yeah.
when everything is working, it's even better. It's the best. Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's good.
So
The
and
only
you guys have
thing-
been so generous with, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was just going to say the only other thing that we haven't mentioned that I think was kind of new on this trip was the Walt Disney animatronic show. And so I'll just say this because I don't want to spoil a lot of things for people who haven't seen it or maybe on their way to see it. I would just say this. Seeing it in person, the animatronic is more impressive than it is watching it on social media and what people have shared. And it's a good show. And I'm sure it's not nearly as popular as it was when it first opened. We didn't have any trouble getting in to see it. It's a good show. Everyone should see it at least once. We saw it once. I didn't need to see it again, but it's not very long. It's like 10 minutes long. But I thought it was really well done for what they were trying to do. I thought it was well done.
And I think it's like correctly placed, like
Yeah.
on Main Street. I wouldn't have wanted it in Fantasyland or somewhere else. I definitely was thrown by the fact that there's no Tony's Town Square restaurant in that building. That really kept confusing me. But that's neither here. That's something only a very niche audience would understand.
Right. Yeah. So everyone, if you're at Disneyland, you should definitely try to catch the
Yeah, put it on the bucket list.
Go see the Waltinator or the Walt Disney A Magical Life, and yeah, everyone should see it at least once.
And I think that's been the consensus pretty much, that everybody, if you've only watched the video, you're like, what's this? What's going on with this thing? But people who have actually seen the animatronic, excuse me, in person, that it's good. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got to experience that for sure. So as I was saying, you guys have been so generous with your time. We really, really appreciate you spending so much time talking about our favorite place in Disneyland. Just since, it's been a while since you've been there, it's your first time back in, what you said, 8 years. I just want to ask, is there something that if somebody else hasn't gone in a while or has never gone to Disneyland, is there something that maybe you would suggest they not miss while they're there? I know you already mentioned the Walt show, but anything else?
I would say do all of the Fantasyland dark rides, because they really, in my opinion, as a vibe person, they make up, in my mind, the heartbeat and the spirit of the park. Go on Mr. Toad, go on Peter Pan, go on Pinocchio, do the Snow White, do the dark rides in the Fantasyland, and get that experience, because I think that's really core to visiting Disneyland. So I would say that would be, don't miss that. Don't skip those over because you think they're just kiddie things. You do those rides. You won't regret it.
Right. Like Pinocchio has been there forever. Ride that ride. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
The history alone is really worth it. The two that come to my mind, the first one is definitely related to nighttime stuff or anything that involves a group setting. Parade, nighttime show, fireworks, World of Color, any of that. If you are an Orlando person, you need to allot time to stake out a spot for those things. It's not like in Orlando where you can just like walk up and see it from everywhere. These people in California wait for their spots for so long because the park is just smaller. Like there are just fewer places for people to be. And when we walked out at like 8:15 to get a spot for the fireworks, there were none. And that was an hour before the show started. And so definitely that. So if you're Orlando exclusive, it's different. If you've never been, definitely something you need to know. Like if you want to get a good viewing of anything, a lot time to just sit there and like stake out a spot for sure. And then the other one is to not skip out on walking all the way around Pixar Pier and like the boardwalk and all that kind of stuff. The games I think are hit or miss because you have to pay for them separately. But like the swings, Golden Zephyr, like those kinds of attractions, like don't skip out on them. They're fun, they're cute, they're short wait times. Like my mom and I, like probably one of our favorite memories is like on the swings, and that's not even like a Disney specific attraction. Like we thought the swings were just like so funny and like way more scary than we expected them to be, and emotional whirlwind tucked in the back. Like walk all the way around Pixar Pier, all the way around the boardwalk at least once.
Right. And if you can physically take it, you need to ride the Matterhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to do the Matterhorn. So
and you got to do Space Mountain. Space Mountain.
Well, you don't have to
awesome.
do Space Mountain.
You can stand under the People Mover track and wonder, what's that?
Yeah, don't do that.
Someone must have asked our tour guide at least one time at every stop if the People Mover was coming back, and she was like, no. She was like, do you know what that would? She was like, do you guys know what that would mean? And I was like, well, I do, but I'm not going to say anything. And she was like, we would have to basically take down all of Tomorrowland and start over to put that track back into use or to rebuild another one. Like it is like built into the foundation of these buildings. Like it's just going to be weird and ugly forever, like unfortunately, and that's okay. Like I like that stuff like that is still there versus in Orlando they definitely kind of are like, this is test track, it's closed, don't come over here, don't look at our construction mess, we're going to put up these big walls, versus like, you know, the fact that the People Mover track is still there is very much a reminder that this place has been here forever, and it is changed, evolved exactly how Walt wanted it. I think that's really cool.
You know, they still lean into it. Look, I bought a People Mover coffee mug from the Tomorrowland shop at Disneyland. So they're still advertising the People Mover and cashing in on it.
And I bought the water, the tumbler.
Yeah. So
the tumbler and the mug. And I bring them both to college. Anyway.
Yeah, I miss the People Mover in Disneyland all the time. But, you know, what can you do? At least we still have it, at least for now, hopefully forever, in Magic Kingdom, so we can still experience it there. Thank you for being so generous with your time. It's been amazing speaking with you all about Disneyland. We just can't wait to get back. Really appreciate seeing it through your eyes as someone who hasn't been there in a long time. So thank you for sharing that. Before we go, we need to hit it up. Disney Assembled. Where can everybody find you? Where can they find you? Pods? Social media?
So just type in Disney Assembled into any sort of podcatcher of your choice, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else that does that, I don't know. And then we are at Disney Assembled on all social medias. And if you want to email us, our email is disneyassembled@gmail.com. Our website is disneyassembled.com. We would love to hear from you.
YouTube.
Check out the show, YouTube. It's all Disney Assembled. It's not hard to find, I promise.
And you guys got posted a lot of stuff recently from that trip. So you want to check out a lot of their stuff from that Disneyland trip. Find them on the socials, listen to the show because they got a lot of great content, right, Michelle?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's always great. And it's love hearing it from two different perspectives on your shows. It's that I think that makes it so great and so always intriguing and exciting and fun content.
Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes you sound really old and sometimes I sound really young, and that's okay. And that's what makes our show fun.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're like, remember the Penny Arcade? And I'm like, no.
Hey, Gramps, what are you doing?
We're getting there. And then, you know, a lot of people listening to this episode, you know, we've been doing this we just put out episode 280 of our show. And so we began right before Mimi started high school, and she's getting ready to be a sophomore in college this year. So
We're on our 6th year of doing this.
Yeah. So
Wow. That's
hanging
awesome.
in there is best we
Yeah.
can. And we may have somebody sitting next to me was on an information call today for the Disney College program.
Yes.
So
I was on my info session for the
waiting
Disney
to
College
see.
program. Bye, girl. Please let me in. Please let me in. I will sling burgers at Cosmic Ray Starlight Cafe. If it means I can network with your executives, please let me in.
So we'll see. We may
How much more demonstrated interest do I need?
all that being said, the Disney Assembled in some capacity may be invading Florida in the not too distant
Nice.
future anyway. So
Nice. Fingers
Hopefully. I
crossed.
don't wanna
Fingers
jinx it.
crossed. You know, we'll be at Destination D23 next week or 2 weeks from now. So if we see Bob there or Josh tomorrow or anything, we'll put in a good word for you there.
Send them my way.
Yeah.
Also, they need to send us a check because whatever they're doing in the animation courtyard is something that Papa discussed on the show 2 weeks before they announced it. Please cut us a check for that.
That's
Thank
okay. They
you.
can have
Yeah.
There it is. You know, Disney, you owe. Pay up.
Yeah. We'll see. Just give her a job and we'll call it even.
Right. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Troy, Mimi, Disney Assembled, thank you again for coming on, being so generous with your time. We always appreciate our time with you, and I'm sure we'll have more to come in the future. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you for having us.
you.
We loved it.